Hi, I'm Peak Performance and Success Coach Kurek Ashley, author of the #1 international best-selling book, How Would Love Respond, and the creator of the super successful speaker, author, coach training programs. And today, what I'd like to talk to you about, and I'd like you to think about, is a world event that happened around the time of World War II. When World War II was ending, from 1946 to 1964, we had a world event happen. And that event was that 1 billion babies were born, also known as the baby boomers. Now, you might be thinking, okay, World War II, that's a long time ago. I wasn't even born yet, or who cares? What are you talking to me about that for? Well, as of last year, that first baby boomer has now hit retirement age. And what that means now is for the next 18 years, every 18 seconds, another baby boomer is hitting retirement age. So that means 1 billion people over the next 18 years are going into retirement, and a lot of those people are going to depend on their government through welfare, Social Security, and pensions to provide for them during their retirement years, right? And as you notice, what's happening in the news right now is a lot of governments are already cutting back on programs to help people, including older people and people in retirement age, because they just can't afford it. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because when most people look at their future, well, there's three things that happen, right? And we need to think about our future because we're all going to be going to our retirement age. And for a lot of us, by the time we get to retirement age, well, a lot of governments won't be able to handle the burden that's going to be put on them by the baby boomers hitting retirement age and draining on the system, needing help, needing funds, needing money to get them through the retirement years, right? So we have to pay attention to what's happening in the future. Yet, for most people, when they look at their future, there's three things that happen. First is they don't actually look at their future. They kind of just put their head in the sand and don't pay attention to it, figure if I don't think about it, well, it's not going to happen. Or they put it off, which again is basically doing nothing. They don't really pay attention to their future, or they think about, well, I'll get to it someday, one day. Right now I'm too busy. I got the kids, I got the job. I don't have time to deal with that right now. Well, the problem with that is that when we put it on the back burner, is when we don't get around to working on it, we probably won't get around to working on it, because you're actually establishing yourself as a habit. You're creating a habit within yourself of not paying attention to it. Does that make sense? And for a lot of people, they're going to get to their retirement age and realize, oh my goodness, it's too late. I should have done something about this a long time ago. And two personal experiences of that for me are my mother and my father. Now, my father and my mom divorced when I was 3 years old and had remarried since then. Well, my dad's wife, my stepmother, Pauline, she's still alive on the planet, and she's been left with not a whole lot of support and not a whole lot of finances because my father did not really prepare that well for the future. He thought it would be taken care of somehow. Now, I'm not knocking my father. I love my father. He was my hero. The thing, though, was that he thought that it would be somehow handled, and he never really planned for the future. My mom, she didn't even think about it. She just, again, thought it was going to be handled. And, well, anyways, both my mom and father passed away, and both passed away with pretty much nothing. And they struggled at the end of their life. And now my stepmom is left here on the planet, and she doesn't have much of a quality of life as far as security goes and peace of mind because her finances weren't handled. And then the last group of people, what they do with their future is they strategic plan, right? That means they set goals and they activate themselves to go after those goals so that they have a fighting chance to not only survive in their retirement years, but also actually have a great quality of life. I mean, remember, those are supposed to be known as our golden years, and they should be golden. They should be enjoyable. I mean, you work so hard. Now, here's the thing, though. Out of every 100 people who work 45 years of their life away, and by the way, those are probably the best 45 years of your life because those are your youthful years, right? That's when you're young and you got the energy and you got the power. Out of every 100 people who work those 45 years of life away, 97 out of every 100 people at the end of their 45 years of work are going to wind up either dead or dead broke. So that means the majority of people, here they are, they didn't plan for their future, they didn't think about it, and they wind up in a very troubled situation. Yet, there's that minority of people who strategic plan. They look at their future and they go, wait a minute, there's going to be some challenges on the plan. Now, let's think about the other side of the coin for a moment. What if I'm completely incorrect with this? Let's say that by the time the baby boomers keep going along, the governments figure this out and they have enough to keep going. Awesome. But what if they don't? I mean, do you really want to take the chance on that your future is dependent upon your government taking care of you in your retirement years? I mean, they don't really take that good of care of us now. Why would I want to get to that place where I'm putting myself at risk? It doesn't make any sense. So successful people, or that minority of people who have a better quality of life, what they do is they actually set goals and strategic plan to produce different results than the average person does, right? So you got to think about which group do you want to be in. Do you want to be in a group that doesn't even think about your future? Or do you want to be in a group that says, well, I'll think about it, but I'll put it off for a while and I'll get to it later? Or do you want to be in a group that actually does something about it and gives yourself a fighting chance to not only have a great retirement, golden years of your life, but also have a better quality of life now, right? Because we're not just talking about the future. I'm also talking about now and your retirement years, right? So there's two ways to achieve those goals, right? Number one is the hard way. And the hard way is that you do it alone, right? You do it completely alone. Say, I got to do this on my own. I'll do this by myself. I'll figure it all out. That's the hard way. Or there's the best way, which is get help. And the funny thing is, I've studied successful people my whole life. I've also studied unsuccessful people. And I've noticed that successful people, anybody who's ever succeeded greatly in life, nobody's ever done it by themselves, right? Nobody does it alone. And there's people out there who have better strategies, better skills and tools than you do, or even I do, right? That they can show us the way towards certain things. As an example, right now I've been studying internet marketing because I think it's very valuable for business, right? And it's really not my natural forte, obviously, and for younger people, maybe it's second nature for them because that's the culture. For me, when I was in high school, there wasn't computers available, but I have to go learn it. Well, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel myself or make it all myself, I go and study people who are already excellent at doing that, and I go to their courses and places like that, to learn from them. That's the easy way. Or there's the hard way. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because October 7th, I'm going to be in Auckland, New Zealand, and on October 28th, I'll be in Wellington, New Zealand, speaking at a program that I'm very honored that for the last 4 or 5 years, they've had me there twice a year to speak at. And this program is called Property Masters. And it's put on by Sean Wood and Steve Goody of Property Tutors. Now, these guys have a lot of integrity, and no, it's not about trying to sell you a bunch of stuff. They're not going to try to sell you property. It's about educating you on how can you produce the wealth goals that you have for yourself. Now, by the way, if you don't have any wealth goals, set some, right? Be a person who actually starts a strategic plan, right, to help you achieve those goals so that you have a better quality of life now and in your retirement years that you actually have a quality of life that most people don't have and won't have, right? And again, if you think about those 1 billion babies going into retirement, they're going to put a strain on the system that the system may not survive. It may not last. Now, instead of just burying our head in the sand and accepting that, let's do something about it. And again, this may seem overwhelming, and it may seem something, oh, I don't know this, I'm not smart enough. Here's the key. In order to succeed in life, you don't have to radically change who you are. You don't have to, become a completely different person. What you have to do is, number one, is you have to attend. You have to show up and do something different. And you have to have an open mind, right? So this is a one-day workshop. Like I said, it's October 7th in Auckland, New Zealand, and October 28th in Wellington, New Zealand, with the Property Masters program. It's super affordable. I think it's like $47 for 2 tickets, right? So you're investing in yourself. Anyways, if you want to find out more about that, go to www.propertymasters.co.nz and register your seats. Now, I don't teach property. I teach the personal development. And what I'm going to teach you at the workshop is, I'm going to teach you the real strategies of how do you get yourself to do things a little bit differently than you've been doing to produce much grander results. And Sean and Steve are going to teach you the ins and outs of how you can produce real tangible wealth. Matter of fact, these guys have helped their clients over the last couple of years produce over $300 million in property rewards for themselves and property deals. They've helped them do it. $300 million. That's real results. So think about which group you're in. Are you in the group in society that doesn't do anything towards their goals and dreams, doesn't even plan for it? And then if they do, that they're out there trying to battle it through themselves? Or are you in a group that strategically plans for your future and gets help in producing the results? I want you to think about that. So I look forward to seeing you on October 7th in Auckland or October 28th in Wellington, both in New Zealand, obviously, and I look forward to seeing you there. Until I talk with you again, which I hope is at the program, and when you come, please come up to me, shake my hand, give me a hug, and I look forward to seeing you there. And until then, have a most outstanding day.